got it. Well, I don't plan on putting anyone in timeout. I plan on putting on my pants. I'm wearing underwear, so it doesn't matter. But basically, I'm making some food, and I'm going to talk about the upcoming new moon solar eclipse in Libra. I actually recorded something on Zoom because I was going to try to be all fancy the other day, and it didn't really work. So, here we are. Basically, what I do is I tell a story. You guys know the drill by now if you're one of my loyal fans, one of my 7 viewers. Hey, but that could change. Essentially, this is a sun and moon conjunction near the point of intersection between their orbits. So from our perspective, the light of the sun is going to be eclipsed. The solar force will be blocked. So that means here's Earth, there's the moon, and then the sun is on the other side of it. So if we view the sun as the on switch for life, blocking it out suggests less than fortunate. Unfortunate. The sun is already kind of unfortunate as it is in Libra. A saving grace, perhaps, is that Venus, which rules over Libra, is in Leo, creating what is called mutual reception. Mutual reception. Venus in Leo is a little bit more neutral. So, it is helpful. It is helpful. Given that is the case, maybe this eclipse is already gnarly sun is going to suggest a story of a deep challenge when it comes to fairness, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to balance. There's a deep challenge signified here. So depending on what house it is, you can focus the story even further. For me, it's about my finances, about my material possessions. It's really an interesting one because I definitely feel like this pressure building to work more in order to sustain my life. I'm already not working that much, but I'm just thinking about like, oh, my car is my dad's old car, and it stalled out the other day. So I'm like, okay, these kind of things are required in order to get to and from the schools. Also, the school postings are not as conveniently located here in Studio City as in other places. And I don't particularly like the work. I try to do good work, but I don't feel aligned with it so much. So there's this sense around my possessions kind of going, what the fuck? But we're trying to make this more general, not just about me or you, your chart. So you can do that brainstorming on your own. Of course, you can hire me. But this sun and moon coming together, a new cycle, being eclipsed too. Being eclipsed because they're near the north and the south node axis. That's what that nodal axis means. It's the dragon. It's the point of gnarliness. So it brings a challenging energy, and it ups the challenge. Going back to this Venus and Leo. Venus went retrograde there, so it's been chilling there for a good amount of time. Individual creative energy, like wanting to be the star, wanting to be the center. That's what the sun wants to do. It can't do it right now because it's in Libra. But the ruler can do it because it's in Leo. So there's like a sense of like through connection and through partnership, through loving bond. Loving bond means like beautiful bond, sensual bond. Yeah, love, like we know what love is. It's the good shit. It's the gooey, loving, beautiful aspects of life. Like that kind of energy. Like choosing I think self-love, because anytime I'm in Leo, I'm starting to think of like self meaning like you've reckoned with the limitations that are yours, right? Like you've realized, oh, like I'm not going to be both a ballerina and a bodybuilder. Like, I mean, I guess you could. That's not the best example. But essentially, like, to be excellent at something, like, it's best not to be excellent at everything, because that's just too much. Leo sort of starts to know, this is my territory. This is where the light touches. This is my zone. Roar. And if it's outside that, it just really doesn't care. Like, Leo has that effect. It gets pretty self-centered. But we all do have Leo in our chart. We all do have our sort of place of mastery. We have our place, our wheelhouse, where the sun is in charge. So for me, in my chart, I have the sun in Pisces. So my big light takes on that sort of dreamy Piscean, global, collective sort of a vibe. Whereas when it's in Libra, it gets its energy on being the sort of balancing, loving maintainer of relationship between anything. It could be a sport. It could be an organization of some kind. Like, that's just what it does. It's not like it's in partnership. It's not in isolation. It's being blocked. It's being blocked. It's being challenged. So some sort of partnership, some sort of relationship, some sort of like connection is getting challenged. Getting like this is not a good story, right? Like if I'm going to tell an eclipse story, it needs to be like, oh shit. So what would be an example? What would be an example? What could we discuss? What could we utilize here? Like, if... This might need salt. I'm going to be going camping during this eclipse. Because I'm not superstitious, but, like, an eclipse type thing would be like, oh, we're stranded on the island where I'm going to be camping. That would be kind of shitty. Or like the boat sinks. That would also be kind of shitty. Like, that kind of stuff happens. Your relationship with... I don't think it's going to be that gnarly. I mean, obviously, I don't know what's going to happen. Calamities happen all the time. But in this general reading, like, if I'm being realistic, to me, it's just like the way through it, whatever the kerfuffle is like loving the self, like the self that is you, that has your specific boundaries and preferences and desires and hopes. That, to me, is how you mitigate this. That's how you mitigate the challenge of whatever this is. Because it's not comfortable. So it's like, Again, I don't want to let the eclipse, the severity of the eclipse, that kind of shit happens. I don't want to be afraid to mention it, but I don't want to make you afraid. It's like, if someone told me, Caleb, like, your life is going to not improve. You're just going to keep doing this. Like, you're not going to get more successful in your astrology. You're not going to make it on Survivor. You're never going to align to a situation that's like you're excited to wake up for, or you're like happy to wake up for. If someone told me that, and it was absolutely sure, if they were absolutely sure that I would never be like truly happy and comfortable and satisfied with this realm, with my life, I think they would be right. I think that they would be right. So, given that that is the case, how do I respond? There's a lot of different ways to do it. And I do think it's freedom. I do think it's freedom. When you get the bad news, when you get the uncomfortable truth, like that idyllic perfect state, it's just not what's this place is about. What do? Self-love. Leveling with yourself, being like so gritty and realistic about yourself. I think that level of love and that level of like kind of honesty, because Libra is all about the social values, but Leo is more like, I'm going to do the thing that I want. It needs the audience. It needs the support of Libra. Like, it needs... Without it, it's just not there. But, yeah. Mars is just moved into Scorpio, thankfully, at the time of this eclipse, which I like, because that means you've got the focus and the emotional drive to get what needs to be done. Like, thankfully, Mars made it out of Libra. That would have just been extra gnarly. But Mars made it past. So there is a level of, like, oomph coming from you. So it's like, I think the emotional drive will be helpful. It'll be strong. Maybe not easy to deal with. Mars is never really easy to deal with, but... I'm ready for that kind of current. I'm ready for it because, like, I just am not... I'm struggling. Existential crisis kind of a situation. I'm struggling. I think it's, like, cruel to be born into this world. Like, that's kind of gnarly. It's kind of dark, but I was. You were, presumably. Unless you're a robot. And then even then, built into it. It's just harsh. Like, there's a harshness, there's a darkness to this, and it's like unfair. It's like it's not fair. But do I take that perspective and go, okay, like, this is not a nice place. This is a harsh place. There's a lot of pain and suffering and all that. How do I choose to move through this? How do I choose to give energy? I certainly don't want to harm. I don't want to make it worse. I want to live a radically different way than my society is. So what does that look like? I'm hoping that this eclipse, even if it's gnarly, provides a deep sense of, like, clarity. So when the unwanted thing happens, like a death or a wreck or a loss of something, I hope that the strength of the emotion that comes up provides clarity about what it is you really like. So if someone treats you like shit, I'm not saying to take that in like a way that is, you know, like you're a vegetable. I'm saying, okay, you feel that shittiness. You feel the unfairness, the injustice of it. And then you're like, I want the exact opposite of this. Like, you get a clarity from it of like, oh wow, I've crystallized now what it is that I actually want. I think that way of approaching the universe is better than complaining about the thing that happened, because it happened. But I mean, it's okay. We have to go through the grieving process. We can't rush things, I guess. But, like, I'm thinking about one of my friends who doesn't want to talk to me anymore. Because, you know, she was in an abusive relationship. She was in, like, women's home. She was just talking about having another child with this guy. Or a different guy. I can't remember. And I was just like, no, like, what are you thinking? Stop. Like, I know she has free will, but I was just like, what the fuck? Like, don't do that. You can't provide a stable environment for these kids. And I know that life isn't stable. Like, so even if you do everything right, have all the resources in the sport, who knows what the fuck could happen? Like, this universe, it's crazy. It really is crazy. Okay, so we talked about the sun and the moon. We talked about Venus. We talked about Mars. Mercury is in Libra too, so it's also going back to this Libra. I don't think messages are like super, super happy right now either. Again, you've got to talk about yourself, like your particular limits where you can be integral and masterful, like, to the system. It really does feel like it's going back to, like, how can I say it? So the individual self is disappointed. The individual self is like, I don't like this. This is harsh. And then the greater universe has clearly decided, like, this is the way it is. I am the I am. God has spoken. And I'm like, God, please change my heart. Like, please help me. Like, I know that I want to feel better. I know that I want better for myself, for my friends, for the world. But when I suggest we really look at what humans are doing, if we really integrate with the information about what humans are doing with the environment, it does seem like a school should be a place that is like a paradise, where these children are just surrounded by tons and tons of love and support. Like, if we're going to invite a child in. Whereas I today, like, I had a great teacher assisting me assisting her, really. She was the assistant to the teacher. So being a sub in that classroom with two adults, we were able to interact with the children whenever they were fighting. It was mostly just, like, since it's below kindergarten, I think, either TK or K, just spending time with them and just, like, marinating in their experience and really trying to listen. And I'm trying to model, like, a way to navigate through this dimension. It is honorable work, but, like, about halfway through the day, I started getting this, like, intense sort of thing going on in my head, not my hair, just, like, just a grating thing. And it could just be from being in that environment and just having all the voices and trying to manage expectation. And then also kind of maybe a little bit of it is holding on to past traumas from being in schools and how I was treated. And, like, it's an integrative thing, and I think I did a decent job. I think I did. I was told that I did a decent job by the kids, by the teachers. But it's sort of like they're little chaotic monkeys, little chaotic apes. Well, that's what humans are. I don't mean that in a derogatory way, but, like, I don't know. I'm just almost stunned. Like, I'm stunned. I'm stunned that people would choose this. Like, I'm not saying that the children are not beautiful and full of potential, because they are. They're nothing but that. It's just exhausting to like, think about the enormity of the experience that they're being thrust into. And, like, these kids were learning both English and Chinese, maybe Mandarin. I don't know which. Again, I'm not an expert at all on the subjects, but again, I clearly see that the parents want their kids to start getting this foundational thing to set them up for success. And I mean, of course, anyone who's in this world, you want them to be set up for success, no matter where they come from, no matter how many resources they have. But I'm just feeling a deep sense of, like, why? And if it's my ego, like, it is, I sense I must surrender. I must surrender to the greater universe. Like, I must surrender to it. And it's like, but it's harsh. I've eaten of the fruit of good and evil. I've said that's good, that's bad. Like, I've tasted of it. I have my preferences. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull up the chart and keep this live. I'm hopeful it'll work. I think it is maybe still live. Hopefully. Boop. The Ralph's bag. Yeah, I think it is still live. So yeah, there is a trine to Saturn more or less happening. A flow coming, and that Saturn is in Pisces. That trine is going from Saturn in Pisces at the beginning of Pisces to Mars. So again, there's a sense that these actions that we're taking now have the benefit of being like kind of like permanent, like the actions that we take with the Mars like focused in that it really is calculated and honed in on what it wants to go towards. It's like, and then there's this extra boost of like, and you're gonna float with the connections that make that thing possible. It's like a very emotionally driven decision, but there's like a degree of thrust and durability. It's like I'm getting the sense of like in those films where the spaceship or the ship is trying to escape from like the exploding thing. Like if that's what's happening, let's just say that that's what's happening. Like in Rogue One, like the baby Death Star, like it wasn't firing full blast, but it like completely started that tidal wave, and then the ship's trying to like get out. Like you realize that it's like it's all or it's going the whole way right now to the limit. Like that's what that trying is saying to me. It's like I'm getting out of Dodge. Like this is done. Like this is over. Like there is that you could of course at any moment harness that type of energy and then accept the consequences. But it does feel like to me, that's what that trine is saying. Okay. Let me look if there's any other things I want to talk about. This whole thing is disaster. I think this is perfect. I'm not even going to change it. I'm not even going to change it. I messed up because Venus is out of... Is Venus already out of Leo? Or is that going to happen in a couple days? Oh, jeez. It's a lot worse than I saw. It's a lot worse than I thought. There's no mutual reception. The self won't help. I don't like this. I really don't like this. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that, like, I wasn't paying attention. I'm sorry that I wasn't paying attention to the details. Venus is in Virgo. Jesus. There is mutual reception between Mercury and Venus. I don't know how much help that's gonna do. Yeah. I mean, okay. Mercury in Libra is nice, but it's too close to the sun for it to really, like, have its own say. No offense to that. You're gonna have to meditate. You're gonna have to definitely meditate. Yeah, this feels more like I feel, in a way. I don't want to be too audacious and say that, like, my energy is the universal energy, but I do have a sense of just, like, what the fuck is this for? I mean, that Mars stuff and Saturn stuff, that's real. That saves. But the situation is worse. It's worse. Because the sun doesn't have mutual reception helping it. It's bowing down to Venus and Virgo, which again, Venus never wants to cause problems. Like, Venus wants to help. But when you love by, like, criticizing and, I don't know. It's like today in school. Like, I just want them to play. I just want them to learn. Well, like, I'm just feeling so conflicted. It's not that I don't want them to learn our language. I do. And I want them to learn to be nice to each other, but, like, they want to hit. It's their natural instinct. Like, they want to. I want this. It's mine. And I'm like, why? Like, how do you relate how stupid it is? Because they're just blocks. But to kids, they're not blocks. And if you go too far, then you lose the, like, sense of, like, possessiveness at all. Like I've done, where it's like, I mean, I guess there's still, like, I still have lingering attachments, but the universe is slowly, like, pulling them away. Even those things, like, I don't, like, the universe takes things. You lose things. Ooh. That Venus in Virgo is nasty. It's nasty. It's so all over the place. It's just haphazard. It's just haphazard. It's Venus in a mercurial sign. I mean, there is mutual reception again. It does help. It does help. Like right now, I am able to do this even though I'm feeling like stuff in my jaw, like discomfort in my jaw. I'm trying to eat. Ooh, this one's weird, y'all. I'm gonna eat more. I have a yoga thing I'm doing today. 4 people signed up. Maybe the most that's ever signed up, which is kind of cool. I'm trying to decide if I need to work tomorrow as well. I mean, I probably do. I've only made like $175 this week so far from today. Not very much. My rent is $827. Not to mention paying off my stuff on my credit card. Like, it's just, this is life. This is the shit that we go through. I think that marinade's still good. I'll put broccoli in it. Shit, y'all. All that was wasted time. I mean, it wasn't. I mean, it's a metaphor. It doesn't really matter, right? Like, I was close, but yeah, Venus left. It's not about you. It's not about your self-love anymore. It's about serving what is. Serving what is. Making do with what is. Harvesting what is. Yeah, it's not the self-grandiose love that'll help. It won't. Loving service who you're with, serving who you're partner with. It just feels like we're all, I don't know where the sense of doom and gloom about existence is. Like, it's just, fuck, like, I'm basically saying it's not worth it. And that's so dark, but that's the voice that's coming up. It's like, this shit is not worth it. I'm basically saying, like, am I saying fuck you to God, or am I saying fuck you to the devil? I don't know. Maybe both. Maybe both. Like, I just don't want to fight. So I'm trying to stop fighting. But what does that mean? What does that mean? Like, do I give up trying to work? I'm tired of it. Like, so if I just stop working, what will that look like? Where do I want to go? Where do I want to go? Where do I want to go? What do I want to do? It's my life. It's temporary. Serve others. I feel like I serve others by being like, think twice before you make another baby. Before you thrust them into this world of duality. It doesn't feel rude. It doesn't feel harsh. Like, I'm just... am I angry at my parents for birthing me? Like, I don't think that they did so consciously. Like, I think if they knew better, they might not. They might not have. I don't know. But it's harsh. I'm getting support from them still. This phone bill. I mean, I'm on Wi-Fi now, but... There are many blessings in my experience. Many, many, many blessings. That other people don't have. My parents gave me a lot. But I just am so... Oh. This is not a fun eclipse. This is not a fun eclipse. And it's not, like, I'm not having fun with my life. Like, there's not this sense of joy. There just isn't. I am going to consider taking a prescription that I was just given. I haven't been called where it is or if it's ready. I might have to call them. It's just, I don't know. I don't know how this shit works. But maybe if I take a substance, then I will be able to be of use longer. Or I can try and help our society do its thing longer, but it's like, fuck. I don't know if I want to. I don't know how much more I want to do this. I can cook and eat some food and swim inside a natural place. I don't know how much more that I will take. Nothing's meant to last forever. Can I stick it out? Like, I mean, I understand this is dark. This is dark. I do not have any plans to harm myself, but I'm like losing the zhush to like try and help. Like not taking care of the body. That's self-harm. It's abusive to the greater self, the body. Like it just is. I don't know. I have pretty strong standards for myself and my health. But it's more like environmental. It's like, am I willing to like let my physical form collapse into something? I mean, I don't really see the reason to do that either. It feels a bit dramatic, but I am thinking like, oh, maybe I'll just eat Doritos because they're fucking really good. I really like Doritos. They're delicious. But they come in trash, wrapped in trash. Like, and I don't know about all those ingredients. They're probably not that healthy, but they do taste good. I don't know, y'all. I'm struggling. I'm struggling. I don't know what to do, 'cause I don't. This separate self, it just doesn't have it. I think this is why we have to trust God, but it's like, where is the efficacy? Where do the humans get to be like, fuck you, God? Like, you want us? You want us to keep dancing for you? Keep bringing more beings into the world? Well, what happens if we stop? If we go, you know what? Maybe we're not going to give you any more souls to play with that are aware of your big creation unless you start helping us out. Like, I don't know. I get it. That's very angry. It's basically like, you birthed us. You created us. I give it... I don't know. There is joyful things to do. There is. It was 3, 3, 3, 3. Whenever I saw the timer. 3, 3, 3, 3. That's a lot of threes. Associated with, like, good vibes. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. I just don't want to false encourage people because it doesn't feel connected to, like, joy. I'm not putting the pressure on myself to be like, this is so great. I'm also not going to say it's terrible. It's not. It just is. It's both. It's all of it. But I'm just fatigued. But I'm committed to the free yoga circle. Work and helping other people's kids. They're not my kids, but they are my kids, right? They're kids in my experience. I want them to be safe. I want them to be kind. I want them to, like, I just don't want to fight with, I don't want to fight with anything. I don't want to wrestle or try to convince anyone of anything. But when you have kids slapping each other, you just gotta. There's just no other choice. I don't know. I don't think this is a depression thing. I think it's just heartbreak. I think it's just accepting reality. I can't force anyone else to see it my way, and I don't know. I don't want to piss off God. I don't want to make him mad at them. I don't want to not be on the side of creativity, and it's so magical, all the things. I just don't feel happy. I'm just unhappy. I'm just angry. What else? Jupiter's in Taurus, bowing down to that Virgo Venus, so even like Jupiter, of course, wants to do good, but Venus is weird. She's just like, she's important. Loving the details. I don't know, guys. I don't like it. I don't like this eclipse. I don't like trying to honor the story of it, because I find that the world is gritty. I don't want to be right about this. And it is just made up, for the record. Like, I don't have any... This chart is a meditation into this... Ugh. I'm a Virgo rising too, so when Venus goes there, it's still not... I'm not going to say no. Like, when Venus gets into my first house, I'll take it, even if it is an in-fall Venus. Why not? She's not going to hurt too much. But my moon's in Taurus, and when Venus is in Virgo, it's like the first house helps it, but it's like she's still in charge of my moon. So I don't want her to be unhappy, but shit happens. Like, that's the thing about astrology, is it's so good. It never lets you off the hook from like some gnarliness, some discomfort. That's why I like it so much, because it just feels true. But I hope you guys get along with each other. I know we didn't really do the outer planets too much, but that's okay. We got enough. I made a mistake, and then... yeah. Just gets worse. I don't like the story. But when I try to tell myself a different story, it almost feels like I'm lying. I just feel so numbed out. It's like if there is divine beings, it's like I'm doubting their existence and then praying to them. It's like, help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope. Like, it just feels like that. I hope that this provides some value to someone, but yeah, it's hopeful to me that this signature also changes. Like, nothing is permanent. There's something very good about that. And this, whenever you're in discomforting environments. It's like, oh, well, this won't last forever. Oh, Venus. Oh, God of love. I hope this didn't bum you guys out, but I'm here. I'm with y'all in it. This experience. And I am trying to bear my truth, my complaints, my sighs. I am. I'm processing the feelings in my head. I'm trying to share them. I want love, I want love, I want love. I want peace, I want peace, I want peace. I want it easy. I wrote a song about that, I think. I want it easy. I don't remember the lyrics to it. I write a song in like 20 minutes and then put it on Instagram without like editing it too much. I just get to a point of like, I don't want to. This is close. This is good enough. But maybe when Venus and Mercury are in mutual reception, there will be a little more like capacity to do the like super detailed perfectionistic tweaking. I think that's a reasonably like authentic window. I don't think it will go well, but there may be like enough care to try. It's very interesting. There's such a darkness. There's such a heaviness. I don't want to discredit you. I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to deny any truth that you bring. There's that sort of like, I will not say no to the arising thoughts, but I will not necessarily allow them to determine where I take action. Thank God Mars is out of there. Thank God Mars is out of there. I'm happy about that. Okay. Love, light, and the snake's bite.